welcome. As the title of this video probably suggests, we'll be having a wee chinwag about the soundtrack of Dazed and Confused. So grab yourself a wee beverage and let's get into it. But apologies for my audio. The fan on my computer will not calm down. No, she will not. So, Dazed and Confused. She is a stoner movie, can confirm. And do the kids not froth a stoner movie in the extreme? They love it. Cannot get enough of it. Probably one of the most timeless genres, I would say, in my humble opinion. So there was three breakouts in this movie worth mentioning. We gave us Benny Affleck, but who cares? And more notably, gave us Matthew McConaughey in his breakout role of David Woodison, which also brought to us this laugh. Beautiful, just beautiful. And not only that, but Parker Posey in this line.
What are you looking at? Wipe that face off your head, bitch.
Wipe that face off your head. What an artiste. Genius. Genius. I wish I could say that in real life, but I'm too scared. She also asked the director if she could put that line in the film as well. So just look at her go. Look at her go. So a bit of background on this one. It was released in 1994. The director is Richard Linklater. He is the dude that brought us School of Rock. Phenomenal film. As well as the Before Sunrise, Sunset and Midnight series. Also, quite lovely. And Boyhood and a bunch of other stuff. He's been a busy boy. He's been around for a good long while now. So Dazed and Confused was his first studio-funded film, and it was his follow-up to his debut Slacker, which came out in 91. So a bit of a plot outline for the film. I thought, who better to tell it than Richard himself? Richard, take it away.
I always saw the movie as we're dropping in on May 28, 1976. It's the last day of school. We get to know all these people, both high school people and junior high people going into high school. And we spend one evening with them, and what happens in this one evening is what the story is. And there's no one huge dramatic arch, but there's a lot of little ones.
So we're going to look at 10 songs from the film, and I'm going to play a wee snippet of each as they appear in the movie. And I know copyright's a thing, but we're just going to play a wee snippet, just a wee snippet, and we'll see how we go. Before doing that, I wanted to bring up two lines by two different characters in the film. One by the character Cynthia, played by Marissa Ribisi, in which she says, "We're all going to die someday anyway, shouldn't we be enjoying ourselves now?" Cheesy, but so true. And then the next is a line by David Woodison, played by Matthew McConaughey, and I'm just going to play the scene for you, because it's a whole moment. It's golden.
Let me tell you this, the older you do get, the more rules are going to try to get you to follow. You just got to keep living, man. Livin.
Beautiful. So I think the overall soundtrack plays into these youth-oriented sentiments pretty heavily. Both say a lot about the general ethos of the characters in the film, in that the focus is very much on the present, and being bogged down by the irksome responsibilities of adulthood is a life that's undesired and far away. This movie is very touched by music. It's something big in the characters' lives, even if on the periphery, and big when it comes to the film's awareness of itself. I mean, even its title is after a Led Zeppelin song. Personally, I think music makes us feel understood and witnessed and less small, and basically incites us not to collapse into a spooked out puddle of existential dread, basically. And in the case of Dazed and Confused, I reckon the soundtrack is used as a mechanism to mitigate the general ennui of teenage American suburban life in the 1970s. So look at me go, just my film degree dripping out my ear holes. Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. Fun fact, it cost production $100,000 to clear this song for the film, which was more than the entirety of Slacker's budget combined, which was like 20-odd thousand. So now Warring I'll get quite sued for just having a wee snippet of the song in this video. Steven Tyler. He's not going to be happy with me. He's not going to be too pleased. The film kicks off by using its soundtrack as a way to glimpse the collective mentality of the temporal moment the characters exist in. The non-diegetic use of Sweet Emotion played over the top of the imagery of the beginning of the final day of high school life before summer starts plonks you right into the groove of these characters' outlook. These kids are coming up to their future, the pressure of which I think makes the majority of the characters so fixated on the present. The little lyric that always stood out to me, because it matches so well with the film's narrative, is, "I can't say baby where I'll be in a year." And it just puts me in mind of how falsely permanent high school life seems at times, especially when you're near the end of it. That pocket of time before you realize how ephemeral things really are, even how ephemeral versions of yourself are. I think also that the soundtrack kicking off with Aerosmith mirrors how in the film getting Aerosmith tickets is listed as one of the biggest priorities of the summer. And this just reinforces how the soundtrack posits you right into these characters' heads, specifically Pink's head, who, no surprise, got his nickname from the much coveted Pink Floyd. Just another illustration of how much music has infiltrated the lives of these characters so thoroughly. School's Out by the Coops. For me, Dazed is pretty synonymous with Alice Cooper because his music always appears in the film in a way which sums up the plot pretty succinctly. School is out. Summer is upon us. That is where we are. The song plays over the top of chaotic images of all the kids emptying out their lockers, throwing around schoolwork in a celebratory fashion, and just generally running amok whilst running out of school. We get this sense of impending freedom that comes with summer and the lack of school. Fuck school. But once outside of school, the freshmen's derrieres are vulnerable to a whooping from the upperclassmen. So you kind of get the competing sentiments of freedom and a looming threat, almost as a direct result of this freedom. Outside of school, they're exposed.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Clean.
Here's another one by the Coops, and just like with the first two songs, it's another non-diegetic piece that nicely parallels the images it's playing over, and which in this case is poor young Mitchell's butt whooping. Just O'Banion's face in this, I feel like this scene is just as much about him as about Mitch. O'Banion is a character most obsessed with torturing the freshmen. Like, he stays years behind in school just to whoop ass, basically. You see this person just relishing in being a jackass, relishing getting one over on someone smaller than him, and I think it's really telling about how small O'Banion's world is, and always will be. And that the only time he gets to feel power is when he's being a dick to someone less powerful, basically. The song, being as poppy and fun as it is, like the line, "I open doors for little old ladies," serves to negate Mitch's humiliation in order to highlight the ridiculousness that is O'Banion. Lowrider by War, what a tune! For me, this song is pretty synonymous with people smoking you know what. The way the song is used in this scene is interesting because it seems to be both diegetic and non-diegetic. You can see the characters bopping along to it whilst driving in their cars, but at the same time it plays over the other characters in a way that suggests they can't hear it in the movie, as though it's just setting the world up more for the viewer. So this one kind of mixes the two. We can hear it while characters are chatting, as though it exists in the scene playing on the radio, as well as while the camera scans over the traffic and other youngins. It serves to establish the setting of the night out, foreshadowing that some things will be smoked, if they aren't already being smoked.
Here comes the story of the hurricane. The mighty authorities came to play.
Hurricane. This is not only my favourite music moment in the whole film, but it's also my favourite song in the film. And it also came out the same year that the film is set in, which is 1976. It serves not only to make Woodison, Mitch and Pink look like badasses as they stroll into the Emporium, but it also feels like the most time capsule-ish moment in the whole movie. The way they're dressed, the way they're in this place that would have been a popular place to go for people that age in that decade to pass the time, combined with the eeriness of the violins in the song and how, as they move through the room, it starts to have this slow motion effect, kind of gives me goosebumps, like they're walking through a room full of ghosts, giving the impression that these people, these kids, no longer exist now as they did then. They're someone's mum or dad or boss or town weirdo, but in that room they stay frozen. In this scene, they're preserved. Like anyone with parents this sort of age, they were probably in places like that as Hurricane played in the background. Yeah, just a really strong nostalgia hit, hey. I mean, the whole film is, but particularly this scene. Thank you so much for watching my first video. My wee granny self is learning the internet, so I made an Instagram for this channel for you to peruse at your leisure. Also, my music project is called Astrals, Would be fabulous if you give that a follow. Might help me break even when I play a gig, which would be delightful. Would not say no to that. Absolutely would say no. But yes, I'll see how I go with having put snippets of songs in this video. I know copyright's a thing, but it's just a bit more satisfying to have the music you're talking about play a little bit in the video, I find. But I will look out for Steven Tyler and see if he pops by to have words with me. But yes, have a good one, folks. Enjoy yourselves. Take care. Later days.